Imagine a serial killer who taunted the authorities with cryptic messages, a killer who was never caught, the infamous Zodiac killer. Emerging in the late 60s, this elusive criminal terrorized Northern California, leaving a chilling legacy of unciphered codes and unsolved murders. The Zodiac killer did more than commit heinous crimes. He reveled in the mystery he created, sending complex cryptograms to the police and newspapers, challenging them to unmask his true identity. Despite the tireless efforts of countless detectives, code breakers, and even casual armchair sleuths, the Zodiac's codes largely remained an enigma, and the killer's identity a mystery. This case, still open, stands as a grim reminder of the limitations of crime-solving techniques of the past. But what if we could revisit this case with the tools and techniques we have today? Could modern crime-solving techniques have caught the Zodiac killer? Let's delve into the evolution of these techniques to find out. Our journey begins in the late 1800s, when crime-solving was revolutionized by the discovery of fingerprinting. Picture this: it's the Victorian era, a time of gas lamps, horse-drawn carriages, and Sherlock Holmes. But behind the scenes, real-life detectives were making a discovery that would forever change the face of crime-solving: the unique patterns of our fingerprints. Yes, those intricate swirls and loops that grace your fingertips, each one unique as a snowflake, became the first widely accepted biometric for identifying individuals. Scientists began to realize that these patterns were not only unique, but remained unchanged throughout a person's life. The fingerprint as we know it was born. But how does it work, you ask? Well, when your fingers touch a surface, they leave behind an impression of these patterns, an echo of your touch, if you will. These latent fingerprints, invisible to the naked eye, can be brought to life with the right techniques, like dusting with powder or using chemical fumes. Once visible, these prints can be compared to known prints to identify individuals. Let's take a step into history for a moment. In 1905, the murder case of Thomas and Anne Farrow in London was one of the first high-profile cases solved using fingerprint evidence. A cash box found at the crime scene bore a clear set of fingerprints, which were matched to a suspect, Alfred Stratton. This marked a turning point in crime-solving history. Fast forward to 1934, when the FBI in the United States established its fingerprint identification division. This led to the creation of a vast database of fingerprints, a resource that continues to aid law enforcement agencies across the globe today. Fingerprinting was the first step towards a more scientific approach to crime solving, but it was just the beginning. As science advanced, so did crime-solving techniques, leading to the rise of forensic science in the 20th century. This era was a game changer for the field of criminology. Delving into the early years of the 20th century, we find the advent of blood typing. This was an era when scientists began to understand that blood was more than just a red fluid. It was a unique identifier. Austrian scientist Karl Landsteiner discovered different blood types in 1901. His discovery meant that investigators could now link a suspect to a crime scene through blood evidence. Next came the development of ballistics. Calvin Goddard, an American physician and forensic scientist, developed a system in the 1920s to examine the markings on bullets. With this system, investigators could match a bullet to the exact gun that fired it. Then in the 1950s, the science of forensics took a giant leap forward with the development of DNA testing. Scientists James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the structure of DNA, which laid the groundwork for DNA fingerprinting. Sir Alec Jeffreys, a British geneticist, used this knowledge to develop DNA profiling in the mid-80s. This technique allowed for the identification of individuals based on their unique DNA patterns. Forensic science has continually evolved, integrating more sophisticated techniques such as toxicology, fiber analysis, and digital forensics. It's hard to imagine a time when these techniques were not part of criminal investigations. Each advancement in forensic science has brought us closer to the truth, proving that science and justice go hand in hand. The combination of observation, deduction, and scientific method has transformed the way crimes are solved, making it a powerful tool in the hands of investigators. So, what's the impact of all these developments? Simply put, they've revolutionized crime solving. Forensic science has shed light on the darkest corners of criminal investigation, turning the seemingly impossible into the possible. Forensic science has made it possible to solve crimes that would have been virtually impossible to solve in the past. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our relentless pursuit of justice. The digital age has brought with it new challenges, but also new opportunities for crime solving. As we transitioned from the age of physical evidence to the era of digital footprints, the tools and techniques used in crime solving have evolved dramatically. Gone are the days of solely relying on fingerprints and bloodstains. Today, our digital activities leave a trail that can be just as revealing, if not more so. In this digital age, the field of cyber forensics has emerged as a critical aspect of criminal investigations. Cyber forensics involves the identification, preservation, extraction, and documentation of computer evidence. This evidence can include everything from emails and text messages to browsing history and location data. It's like a treasure trove for investigators, offering a wealth of information that can help piece together the puzzle of a crime. Data analysis, too, has become an invaluable tool in crime solving. With the advent of big data and machine learning, investigators can sift through mountains of information at lightning speed, identifying patterns and connections that might otherwise go unnoticed. This can be especially useful in cases involving organized crime or serial offenders, where the sheer volume of data can be overwhelming. But it's not just about the data we actively produce. Passive data collection, like the information captured by CCTV cameras or the data generated by our smart devices, has also become a crucial part of modern investigations. This has led to the rise of digital surveillance, a controversial yet undeniably effective tool in the fight against crime. However, with these new tools comes new challenges. As our lives become increasingly digital, so too does crime. Cybercrime is on the rise, and law enforcement agencies around the world are racing to keep up. The same tools that can help solve crimes can also be used to commit them, creating a digital arms race between criminals and the authorities. The digital age has transformed crime solving, but what does the future hold? As we move forward, one thing is certain: the ever-evolving landscape of technology will continue to shape the way we fight against crime, offering new opportunities and challenges in equal measure. As technology continues to advance, so too will crime-solving techniques. Fast forward to the not-so-distant future, where artificial intelligence and machine learning are not just buzzwords, but integral tools in the crime-solving arsenal. Imagine a world where AI systems can analyze crime scene photographs, identifying and cross-referencing minute details faster than any human could. These systems could spot patterns and connections that might otherwise be missed, helping to crack cases that have remained unsolved for years. Machine learning, a subset of AI, could also revolutionize digital forensics. Algorithms could be trained to sift through terabytes of data, identifying suspicious activity and highlighting potential leads. This could be particularly useful in tackling cybercrime, a rapidly growing area of criminal activity. And then there's predictive policing, a concept straight out of a science fiction novel. Algorithms could be used to predict where and when crimes will occur, based on historical data and current trends. The potential benefits are enormous, but as with any powerful tool, there are risks. As we push the boundaries of what's possible, we also grapple with complex ethical considerations. The use of AI and machine learning in crime solving could potentially infringe on privacy and civil liberties. There's the risk of false positives, of algorithms making mistakes that could have serious consequences. And then there's the question of bias. If the data fed into these systems is biased, the outcomes they produce are likely to be biased too. In the future, striking the right balance between harnessing the power of technology and protecting individual rights will be crucial. As we move towards a world where machines play an increasingly prominent role in crime solving, we need to ensure that these technologies are used responsibly and that their benefits outweigh their potential drawbacks. The future of crime solving is exciting, but it also raises important questions about privacy and civil liberties. As we stand on the brink of this new era, it's clear that the way we solve crimes is set to change dramatically. But with this change comes responsibility and the need to tread carefully as we navigate this uncharted territory. From fingerprinting to AI, we've come a long way in the world of crime solving. Our journey started with unresolved mysteries like the Zodiac killer, where a lack of sophisticated techniques left us with more questions than answers. But humanity, in its relentless pursuit of truth, didn't stop there. We discovered the uniqueness of fingerprints, using them to connect culprits to crimes. Then came the rise of forensic science, a game changer that brought the guilty to book with evidence as tiny as a strand of hair. And with the digital age, we've started to harness the power of technology, using AI and big data to unravel complex criminal riddles. As we peek into the future, we see possibilities of crime solving that go beyond our wildest imaginations. As we continue to innovate and adapt, there's no telling what the future of crime solving might look like. But one thing is certain, the quest for justice will always drive us forward.